We're almost up to 1500 now. And so if you're around this range, feel free to send a challenge to Tara Smurf. And we're playing all d4, focusing on the queen's gambit with c4. We could play e4 here, transposed to a French, but I'm going to save that for when we do the e4 speedrun. We try to play all one e4. Okay, so black here is playing this English opening, English defense, I should say. There's a couple different ways to play this one. You can go a3 if you're worried about bishop b4. You can go knight c3. And I like e4 here, just taking the space. I do remember the bet, Raiden. I absolutely do. Bishop b7, bishop d3. And hopefully we'll get f5 here, actually. That would be fun. Okay, knight e7. f5 leads to a fun position where we take, black takes on g2. We give queen h5 check, black goes g6, we take that one, and we get a very fun attack. But instead, black goes knight e7. So we're just going to keep developing here. You can play knight f3, knight e2 here I think is also fine, but let's just play normal. Put the knight on f3. Nothing special. Okay, f5. So yeah, now this one isn't so dangerous for us, and we can even play like knight c3 here and just defend the e4 pawn. And if black takes, we'll take back with the knight, and I think this is actually kind of a nice trade for white. It's a weird one. It's like this kind of reverse Sicilian where black plays f5 on this board, on this side. But the point is that the light squares are going to be pretty tender in these positions. So I'm already thinking about like queen c2, moving the knight, and then there's going to be problems on the diagonal. Hence why it's not a good idea to leave the f7 pawn so early. We can also go h4, h5 here. This move certainly looks very reasonable to me as well. But let's focus on development. Let's play queen c2, and we'll keep this idea h4, h5 in reserve. We'll also have knight g5 at some point. Black could go knight c6 here, kind of an annoying move. And then I would probably just play a3, just nip that in the bud. Just don't allow that. Well, Daster, you can challenge this account, and but keep in mind I'm only going to accept challenges if you're kind of within like 50 points or so. Did I see Van Kampen roasting Waitskin on Twitter? I did not. I did not. What was that about? Those guys are like from completely different generations. 10-0, 10-0, please. Rated. Okay, bishop b4 check. So natural move is just bishop d2. But it is a little bit unpleasant that we have to kind of give up our light squares. We'll go queen takes, black will castle, and try to play knight to f4. We could go king f1 here, then castle, knight g5, and go for the attack. And I actually think it's a good decision. I mean, I think I've had a few games actually in this run where I move my king in a position where we don't necessarily have to. And I don't know if this is necessarily like a great habit, but I want to show that, you know, you can break the rules sometimes. In this case, it's more about not wanting to trade off this bishop and keeping the space advantage. So now we have a3, and this bishop is going to have to move out of the way. And then maybe we'll play like h4, h5. Scott, thank you for the donation. Much appreciated. Okay, so I wanted to go here. And we're just being very, very annoying on this diagonal. And you see, had we played bishop d2, then our whole coordination would have been messed up. We would have to take with the queen or take with the knight, but then if we take with the knight, there's like knight f4. And yeah, no fun. Okay, bishop takes f3. Now it's an interesting move. Now it's time to make some decisions. We have a few options. We can take with the knight, we can take with the pawn, which is ugly, but it keeps our knight strong on g5. Or we can take on g6 and play for the attack. And this is this is looking like a Greek gift actually, because we take on g6, hg, queen takes, and then we're threatening mate, and black will have to, black is still hanging the bishop there, so they'll have to play like bishop e4 to defend mate. We can go queen takes e4, then we're still hitting h7, and we're hitting this rook on a8. So that's probably good. That's probably good. But let's think about this one for a sec. So we want to take here, kind of in between move, right? Black took a piece. We want to take a piece and create some threats in the process, because then we take king h8, then bishop g8, insta move, followed by queen h7, checkmate. So we want to take, if hg, queen takes g6, we're up a pawn actually, and we have a bunch of threats, so that's good. So the only thing I'm like worried about is some kind of weird counterplay, like bishop takes g2, king takes g2, queen f6, rook takes f2. Nothing really seems to work. Seems like queen f6 will have time to take and defend everything. So what I'm mainly looking for is a reason why this doesn't work, and that would be some kind of like in-between move. You know, maybe some brilliant bishop d1 could be unpleasant, but I don't really see bishop d1 working either, because we're again taking here, saving the bishop with tempo. Okay, so let's take. I mean, we could also take back here, and I like our position a lot because I still like our pressure on the king side, and we go like h4, h5, or knight g5 back, but this one seems to be really straightforward. Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys can challenge me while I'm in a game. Let me see if I can fix my settings. Multiple games? Yeah, you might be able to allow challenge me now. Hey, Chess Latte, how's it going? Well, send in the challenges, and I'll try to play you guys one by one. But yeah, we gotta be around the same rating, because otherwise it's not fair. If you're like high rated, then you'll give me too many points. And if you're low rated, then it'll take too long to do the speed run. So I apologize, but you missed your chance. Oh, nice job, Jackson Chess. I guess you won that game, I assume. So I want to play equal rated players. Equal or slightly above. Okay, queen f6. So tricky move, because in some lines, you know, black will have this one, or maybe bishop d1. We have to be careful here, but what we wanted to do was take on h7 with check. Maybe knight takes h7 is also good. But knight takes h7, I'm worried. You know, there's bishop takes g2 check, king takes g2, queen f3, for example, and some unpleasantness. If knight h7, bishop takes g2, king g1, we might be okay there. But I feel like a simpler solution is to take with the bishop and then take on f3. And then we're a piece up, and our bishop doesn't seem to be getting trapped. So I'm just gonna go for the simple approach. Maybe we have some fancy win here with like bishop g8, but well, I mean, it's worth looking at, actually. Hold on. Probably we're not going to play it, because bishop g8, g6. And then our bishop is just hanging. And we haven't taken on f3 yet. So that might be a case of kind of tricking yourself. Maybe it's good anyway, but I think this one is going to be simpler, because we take... and our bishop is defended. There's no g6. We're up a piece. Next, we're going to pull this one out. Bishop e4. Bishop g5. And yeah, we should win comfortably here. Interesting first game, I have to say. The run, it's cool. All right, knight c6. Good move. I mean, black is doing their job. Let's just develop and defend the pawn. Nothing special. Bishop g5 maybe was a thought as well, but then we would have to think about knight takes d4. Oh, bishop e4 might have been good too. Yeah. Okay, bishop e7. Let's go bishop e4. Pull this one back. Black can go knight b4, but I'm not really annoyed by this tempo. I'll just go like queen e2 or something, pull the bishop back, and in fact my queen is kind of closer to where it wants to go. Well, you know, Daster, I mean, I've already been close to losing a couple of games. I mean, there was the game where we played against the cheater, which was obviously very, very difficult. But I've had some games that were actually some close calls, like, so it's not like I'm just cruising. The dead giveaway that he was cheating was that he was playing quite good, and his moves were all kind of taking him the same amount of time, so he had very systematic move times, which is a classic tell. Okay, here we can take, or we can also not take and just pull the bishop back, but I think I want to take this one and just clarify the structure, because if black takes with the pawn, then their knight can no longer get back, and if they take with the knight, then maybe we'll just trade. I'm gonna pull this guy back, and we're a little bit behind on the development here, but we're still up the piece, and that's good. So black doesn't really have enough for that, and once we get everything out, then yeah, it'll be really straightforward. So we just want to go a3, maybe an h4, bishop d6. Okay, let's just kick this knight out, and knight c6, queen c2 is going to be a nice double attack. Very typical double attack, actually. I've blundered this one myself many a times. This knight is always hanging. Somebody told me today that Ding can never be world champ. Wow. Who said that? I'm guessing it wasn't like a strong player. Queen c2. Yeah, Chess Latte, we can absolutely play. Well, of course he still has a shot. Ding Liren is like number 2, number 3 best player in the world. Yeah, Ding has a much better chance than Firouzja. Okay, we got mate. I don't want to slow roll it too bad. So GG. Alright, let's play Queen's Gambit. You won the 8-pawn bet. Nice. Dude, you should have just played Bishop G5. I would play H6 in a heartbeat. If you wanted me to move... Oh, but you didn't want me to move the H-pawn. Excuse me. Yeah, you wanted me to move the A-pawn. Should have put the bishop on B5 then. Then I would have kicked it. Okay, D4, Knight F6. Let's play C4. Okay, and then after this game, we'll play Beth. B6. All right, let's play Knight C3. Let's develop. Bishop B7. Now here, we're not able to play E4, but we can go Queen C2 or D5 actually. D5 is quite interesting as well. I'm gonna play D5. I actually kind of like the idea of shutting down this bishop. In general, people play this one too early. In fact, here it might not even be all that reasonable, but it's important to follow it up well. I feel like A3 is kind of a nice idea here. And now bishop doesn't get their favorite B4 square. So kind of a nuanced thing, but some players will play like D5 after G6, and that's no good. Then you're just kind of overextending. But against this bishop on B7, D5 is kind of okay. Then we stop bishop B4. I think E4 might be playable, but after bishop B4, it's kind of annoying. So takes, we'll take. And our idea is just to keep this pawn strong. We'll follow it up with E4, maybe E5. Knight comes out to F3, bishop comes out, castles. And we're just using our pawns in the center against this bishop. So that's kind of our idea with that one. Any tips for Flame Blade? Yeah, I think G4 in that position was actually kind of a very risky move, so I would be careful about that one. And the way you played it actually I feel like wasn't ideal with bishop E3. I think you should have put the knight on G3, and then if black plays H5, then you can put your bishop on G5. That's the way I would play that with white. Okay, C6. Well, black is challenging the pawn. This is logical, but white can now like push D6, for example, and then shut down the other bishop, or we can go E4, keep this one under control. So this isn't gonna work. Question is, what do we want to do here? If we push D6, then C5. This knight will come out, and bishop can go to G6, bishop G7. If we go E4, takes. Black is kind of in the same bucket as before. It's an interesting move. Oh, but black has to be careful because D6, C5, there's knight B5. And that's going to be a real problem for that C7 square. Black will have to go knight A6. But knight A6 might be all right. is a weird one. I do like d6, but I'm not like totally sure about it. But let's I feel like we should try it because I feel like this is a really strong pawn and we'll be able to support it. Yeah, let's do it. So a lot of times the issue is this one, but here we don't have to worry about it. Okay, knight a6 very quickly. Well, this allows me to advance e4, so I'm gonna do that. I think black should have spent a little bit more time here. I feel like c5 was kind of important, because if white gets e4, e5, that's too much. Yeah. But now we do get this one. And then on knight c5, we can think either e5 or maybe even, no, queen c2 hangs this one. So knight c5 will probably push. And knight e4 will just develop. 75-0, not bad, right? Have I really won 75 games? Jesus. It's a lot. Okay. Knight d5. We can trade or we can not. Honestly, I'm kind of indifferent about this. I think actually I'd rather not trade because this bishop is gonna be kind of stuck. But black wants to go knight e6 and c5. All right, let's take this one actually, and then we'll try to establish our knight on a nice square here on d4. And as long as we keep these pawns alive, we should be good. Okay, f6. It's a big move. It's a big move. And we're definitely just looking to develop against this one. Maybe knight d4 actually is very interesting. Takes, queen h5 check. g6 takes. Woof. Knight d4, g6. Knight b5. Actually, knight d4, g6 is a little bit annoying. No, I think we got to do this one. I think this is just too powerful not to attempt. Now this will go here, but on fe I don't see the follow-up there. So it's kind of a funny move, but it might not be good. We can also throw this one in at some point, b4. Yeah, this is a good one. This is the Twitch and Chill playlist off Spotify, if anyone's wondering. Oh, RB Ramesh started streaming. That's cool. Ramesh is huge. This is a really interesting game actually. Who knows what's happening. The black's problem, of course, is the bishop is not developing, so okay, knight e6. Now we can take and give a check, king f7, and then maybe just f4. We just support the pawns. That looks good. Let's just play for the pawn chain. We don't even have to give the check, actually. We can go bishop d3 as well, maybe even stronger. Threatening queen h5 check. Then on queen d7, very important, queen h5. If g6, we take it. And if queen f7, then we have bishop b5 check, and queen is going to be hanging. And of course, bishop d3, if fe, then again, we just have this one. Actually, king d7, you know, king d7. Black gets some center. Not sure if I'm making myself clear here. I'm going to give the check. I want to discombobulate black before they get time to do something fancy. I realize, like, I just don't want to let the king over this way. So king f7. And now let's think. If castles takes, check, g6 takes, bishop g7. It's not that bad. So let's go f4 and just keep the pawn chain. This is our advantage, just that this bishop on f8 is stuck. Bishop on b7 is not great either, though at any point black can go d4 if they want to and just free that bishop. The cost of a pawn, of course, and this diagonal, so not sure if that's what they want, but this is what we want. And then we want a castle, and then maybe even go f5. And if black goes f5 themselves, then their bishop is just shut down, because these pawns are just extremely oppressive. And we just win easily. Bishop here, rook comes in. And it's like GGO, as they say. Oh, and after this game, we're gonna check in with Eric because they had some, they had some developments in their game. So we'll do this game. We'll check in with Eric, and then we'll play Beth Harmon. Rook c8. It's possible black wants to go rook c5, but that doesn't seem too dangerous. So I'm going to castle. And we're finally getting our rook in. And our next move here is going to be f5. All else being equal. Okay, bishop takes d6. Yeah, finally black just can't really handle it. I don't blame them. So now at least they get some play. All right, let's pull the bishop back. We don't want that one hanging. Now we got an extra piece. Black has some pawns, so we have to be precise here. Main way to win this is to start exchanging. Just get your bishops into the game. We can also think about playing on the king side, trying to get some attack going. But right now, my main priority is just getting bishop d2 in, rook c1, maybe queen e2, just using all the pieces. Here, rook moves. Ooh, well this one allows the check. Of course we can just take right away, but I think the check is even more unpleasant. Yeah, typical double attack idea. All right, let's see. We can take the pawn. We can also start with this one just to threaten this and get our development going. Yeah, let's actually do that. I think this is objectively stronger, just getting the pieces out. We can take h7 whenever, but let's first see how black deals with this one. Maybe king d7. We'll go bishop b4 anyway, followed by queen f7 check. Might just be mating on the spot. We might not even need the h pawn at all. So yeah, this is good. This is what we want. Okay, d4. That's going to allow bishop b4. Now black is going to have to give up the rook. They want to continue. Okay, well, let's take it. And then we'll just keep things real simple. We're just going to go rook c1. Try to take it. Okay, queen d5. We'll trade queens. No problem. And now we're just cleaning up, just using our extra rook. Rook c1, b4, etc. All right, let's bring this guy over here. We could have also gone rook fc1, but I actually want to start harassing black's king a bit, especially after e5. We don't just want to let these pawns run willy-nilly. We want to get some annoying threats in. So let's give this a check. We'll try to take on a7 with a check. If bishop c6, then okay, black has to deal with immediate devastation. And yeah, it's going to be that. We're just keeping it super simple, just trading everything off, trying to get a position where we have just simple rook against nothing. And yeah, that's gonna be a GG. No, actually, no Norm Hunter episode today, guys, because Hammer is busy with the Skilling Open, of course, Champions Tour. All right, we're playing Queen's Gambit. Looks like we got the Queen's Gambit accepted. Let's push e4. Thanks, Sterling, for the sub. Knight f6. We'll advance this one. Now knight comes to d5, and black does get a nice square on d5, so it's not like this position is just great for white or anything. In fact, this is a pretty theoretical position. But I'm not sure if this is the best way to play it. A lot of times black can play bishop f5 and get the bishop outside the pawn chain early. Here that doesn't happen, so I'm liking our chances already. C6. Okay, let's develop this guy. I think this is really passive. Like, black already has control over the d5 square. He really doesn't need c6, so he should just be thinking about developing the bishop, developing the knight. Now after c6, b5, I guess he's playing for the light squares, but yeah, the bishop is gonna be a very unhappy camper for a while. So let's pull this guy back to d3. In this kind of structure, we're often wanting to look at the h7 pawn, because usually black is going to castle kingside, and usually that means we're going to have some Greek gift sacrifices. Now this is always a tricky moment. Do we play h4 before black castles or after? If we play it before, they might get scared and not castle and we don't get our Greek gift. If we play it after, then okay, it's kind of telegraphing our idea. But I kind of like this. I'll wait. Let's play a3. Just so we don't get hit with any knight b4s or anything like that. We'll wait for black to castle, and then we'll hit them with h4. We could have also played h4, and then if they delayed castling, you can follow up with like rook h3, rook g3. This is a totally legitimate plan as well. And that might be what we do here, yeah, because it looks like black doesn't want to castle. And that's fine. I mean, that's fine, I guess, but they will be punished for it. Bishop d2 is a normal move, but I just need for it. If knight takes c3, we're still gonna play bc. Thanks Nernays for hosting. So let's see. We can also just castle here and set up the attack normally. It's not like we have to play h4 every game. Let's play this one normally. We got this e4 square. We can put the rook on e1. We'll use the g5 square, and we can try to get a kingside attack. There's also possibilities of using some of these weak squares on the queen side as well. Okay, so bishop a6. Black wants to play b4 here. I don't think we can really stop it. One interesting thing would be just to take here, but then queen could take. Hey Nernes, thanks for subscribing. Let's play knight e4. Let's keep the knight more active. All-time high survival puzzle rush. Nice. Yeah, I saw you got 30. Although was that the survival or was that one of the timed ones? I couldn't tell. 32 now. Nice. Okay, 97. Let's go rook e1. Just kind of simple Nimzovichian style move, overprotecting the e-pawn. And then if black ever does go f6, we can take and open up the rook against this e6 pawn. We're also maybe setting up some ideas of knight d6 check. Black really is, yeah, doesn't want to castle here. I mean, some players, they really fear the Greek gift, even though in this case it, well, actually might be working with two with two knights, though. First, my knight was in front. Okay, so h6. Yeah, I think he was really afraid of just some knight g5 ideas, which I don't blame him. They look pretty annoying. But at some point, you know, we're gonna have to castle. Now bishop d2 is a move that makes sense to me because we're just trying to like continue to improve our position. So let's do that. And if black continues to not castle, we'll just continue to improve our position. And at some point, the center is going to open up and we'll play knight d6 check and we'll plop it in there. And yeah, then we will have some nice attacking chances. All right, let's go rook c1. If black castles here, we'll definitely look for some kind of bishop takes h6 sacks as well. All right, b4. So hitting this pawn and threatening to take it. So yeah, I think we're gonna have to trade this one. Rook takes. No, I'm not sure if we have enough to jump in here. So let's play a4. And my idea is just to kind of like fix the structure on the queen side. So maybe one day we'll even have an idea of bringing this knight to c4 actually. I think that just became our number one plan in the position. But what to do with this bishop on d2? Might have to go to e3. Okay, knight f8. Oof. Yeah, really not wanting to castle. I'm gonna say this is probably black's biggest mistake so far. I think black actually played this one quite well. Like it's really not such a bad position. But now that this rook is really stuck, we want to open things up. So knight d6 is kind of my first instinct here, or knight c5 also very tempting. Takes, pawn takes, queen goes somewhere. And then we just need to get our knight to d6. Okay, let's improve the bishop. And then we're again looking for this plan, knight d2, knight c4. All right, knight g6, knight d2. I'm assuming black is finally going to castle here. It made so many prep moves, but at the cost of so much time. Because now we're just getting our pony to the dreamland. So I took with the pawn here just to keep the center kind of secure. We might even use this open f-file. But now, yeah, I just love that I can bring this square. I can't really resist just jumping in there immediately. And okay, we're switching gears here. We're no longer playing for the attack. Now we just want to play for the c-file, the queenside play. I want to hit this rook next and go after the c-pawn. This knight might even jump to c5 at some point. But yeah, just this threat is already kind of unpleasant enough, I think. Okay, take. Let's take. Okay, queen g5. Okay, you want to be a little bit careful here because of knight h4 threat, but I don't think this is really enough activity for black. So let's go queen e2. I'll get a tempo on this rook. You could go knight h4 here, kind of freeze my queen, but then we can play something like rook c2, for example, just to overprotect the g-pawn. Rook a8, okay. It's a bit odd. Now this one is hanging. Queen f3. Yeah, this looks like an unpleasant move. Knight h4 we'll take with check, and then presumably we'll have a way to deal with the mate. We can go back queen f2, and for f8 we'll go queen g3. Yeah, rook a8 felt very, very strange. But you see, this is what players do. It's like they just get extremely kind of focused on this one pawn. Like, oh, this pawn is hanging, so there's no way I can possibly move my rook back. So that means I have to defend this way, right? Whereas this move was probably much stronger, you know, just going for a little counterattack. Okay, rook a7. So yeah, black is just trying to defend everything passively, and this often just doesn't hold up. Okay, so let's keep putting some pressure. What we want to do here. Knight h4 is still an annoyance. Like on rook takes c6, knight h4, Rook c8 check, king h7. Oh, we're okay there. We can go for that. So we'll take. Yeah, and the c pawn fell anyway, right? So it's not like black was able to hold the pawn. It's just like people don't realize that when you defend super passively, you're just kind of delaying the inevitable. You're not really fully defending in many cases. It doesn't mean passive defense is always bad. It just means you have to know the difference. Okay, so knight h4, let's throw in this check. That makes us feel safer. King h7, and then we'll throw in this check as well. Again, the tempo is nice, although actually could have played queen g3 here too, just to look for a queen trade. But check should be fine. Now black, I guess it's going g6. And as long as there's no threats, then we're just gonna keep our initiative going. Indeed, Jusan. Yeah, they don't let you put birthday stream in the title unless it's your birthday. Twitch makes you verify it. You know, they really take their security very seriously. Thanks. All right, queen g6. Well, we don't mind the queen trade, but this is a free piece, so I think we're gonna take the knight. Zero tolerance policy on hanging material. We always take it. Thanks. What is the chess player peak age? I didn't see that. How close am I to the peak? $35.45? Nice. Okay, GG.